Welcome to the second part on how to create a 3D scene graph for OpenUSD, leveraging LLM application for spatial intelligence. So that's a lot of swear word, but essentially that's what we are doing. If you remember, in the previous session, we stopped at this stage, visualizing our 3D graph that you see here. Now let's move on to the next stage, which is creating our statistical visualization. So for that, we take our graph, and essentially I have a bunch of algorithm computation to know what kind of semantic label distribution we have, what are the relationships, and the node degree. And this is very important because it gives us a lot of insight. As you can see here, we have two wall element, one floor, a lot of tables, one ceiling, some furniture, and a lot of chairs. So you can already see what kind of label distribution you have with the various classes, instance-wide. Then we can see the relationships above, below, adjacent, and near. And finally, you see the node degree distribution. We had an average around 12, and here this is something that we see a bit, but that's not a normal distribution. So that gives us a lot of hint. Now let's move on to generating a real-time Python analytical viewer with Open3D. So how do I proceed here? I first create our 3D text label placeholder. So essentially here, I will just generate spheres because we don't have with Open3D the ability to write 3D text right from the get-go. So I will just place a sphere. Then I will create object bounding box, just axis align for now, for each object, so that it's easier for us to visualize that. And I will also color with the semantic label. And then finally, I will create my labeled bounding box and visualize everything with my labels. So if I apply that, normally you can see on our point cloud that we have a placeholder which is leveraging the centroid for each of our objects. And we also have the ability to see what are the instances. So already here, you can see the issues that we may have with the various clustering mechanism. We use dbScan only. We did not change out a lot of algorithm that I talk about in this book, but only one. And we didn't really feature engineered the parameter with heuristics, which I show to have something that is data driven. This was knowledge driven from my experience and by trial and iteration, but you can see that I have issues because I retro-pedaled and I put 0.3 to show you the edge cases where I have two chairs taken as one here as well, and here as well, and here as well. So if we would have liked to have something a bit better, we could have handled that with dbScan. And also with the walls, this looks like it's the centroid of the walls, which makes sense because all of that is a single object instead of being delineated with three walls. So this is also something that will give a lot better scene description here than what we are seeing. Nevertheless, it's pretty good. And the next stage is to actually plot the graph on top. And this is what I do in here. So essentially, I take my scene graph and the objects. I will retrieve the relationships. And for each type of relationship, near, above, below, adjacent, contain, inside, on, I will attach a color. And from there, I will return lines that I will add to my scene with the point cloud. And this case, I will also take the color, which allows me to generate a full graph on top of my point cloud. So perfect visual conditioning for spatial intelligence. So I'm executing that. It's pretty efficient. That's all in Python. And this is beautiful. You have your colored point cloud and you have the graph. And from there, it's very handy because you can see already the type of relationships where the room is dictated by the ceiling a bit and the walls that is touching everything. But as far as centrality goes, you have this table that looks like it's touching almost everything. So it may be very, very central. And then you have some furnitures that are a bit isolated, like this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a degree of 6. This one is also touching some elements. So you all already get a sense of a hierarchy and the layout and what could be done better, right, in this typical graph. So now that this is out of the way, let me move on to validating and maybe exporting a JSON file. So to validate and export our JSON, so essentially what I do is I make sure that our scene graph is fine. I check if there is any isolated nodes, which may well be the case, in which case you need to handle that either as a subgraph component with connected components or by considering everything as a whole, right? And you also will check for missing semantic labels in your graph and validate relationships. Check if it's logical to have something above, below, below, above, contained inside. So that's the bidirectional relationships. That speaks a lot about topological and the 9 EDEM model from Clementini. My supervisor at the time, so Roland Billen, which is a full professor at the University of Liège, was also very involved with Sisis Latanova. Excellent researchers that are really true inspiration for us in the geospatial domain, let's say. They worked a lot on this topological concept for 3D. So if you want to dive deeper, I highly encourage you to check out this 2 researchers. So Sisis Latanova, Roland Billen, and also the work in Munich around GML and the OGC main concepts. All right, so enough with that. Here I will export my scene scenery as a JSON file, and you can see that we don't have any issues, no warning. We have 1 connected component. The average degree, because I modify, is now almost 10. If I check now the data, we have a scene summary. And if I open that, this is what it looks like. Scene analysis, connected component, validation, and we have each objects with our main features, which is very nice. All right, so already at this stage, let me show you something very impressive. If you go, for example, to Google Gemini, and you pass in this JSON file, this is what I did, and you ask something, a prompt, can you clearly detail the organization of the room? You have the analysis here, and this is super impressive, right? Because it will give you exactly like direction how to.
Based on the provided scene analysis, here's a detailed organization of the room and suggestions for improvement for a classroom setting. Current room organization. The room appears to be a large, open space, as indicated by a single connected component in the scene analysis. It is primarily furnished with tables. There are 10 tables present. Their centroids suggest they are somewhat spread out but clustered in certain areas, e.g., table _0, table _1, table _9 are near each other, table _2, table _4 are near each other.
Okay, so you get the drill. It's impressive. You also get the relationship, the layout observation, there is scattered seating, lack of central focus, and dense areas. So after that, I asked him to improve this classroom setting, where he said, okay, define a front of the classroom, whether you designate one wall as the primary teaching wall, and have more things there, organized table for collaborative learning, or rows, beautiful, optimize share placement. This may seem like an edge case, but actually, this is a large issue because the amount of time that you spend in a classroom or in your office is large. And it's very important to have something optimized for collaboration, where everyone feels very good, where you have a lot of interaction. And with this kind of techniques, you can do that super efficiently. Just scanning your data, labeling the main classes that you need, using that, and then pushing out your graph, scene graph, into an LLM like Gemini 2.5 or other ones, and you will get incredible recommendation about how to implement your new strategy of room layout, for example. But you have also that for warehouse design. Is the amount of boxes large? Is there a security hazard or things like this? So this is totally impressive. Now to move on to NVIDIA and OpenUSD. You have the OpenUSD stage creation. So essentially with OpenUSD, you have stages. So you will create a new stage, you will set up a hierarchy, and we'll create geometry scope for objects. And for each object, we will have a primitive, in our case, will be a cube, and add relationships. And you see that's what I do. And then I give a lot of attributes. So it's very easy how to create that. And this is what I'm doing now. And you can see that this is also something super cool, is that it's an ASCII file format at this stage, where you can also see everything, and you have various informations like the relationship, the geometry, and so on. And this stuff is then readable with OpenUSD and Omniver. So OpenUSD online viewer will not maybe see the let's check out if that works. It's the first time that I'm using that. We'll maybe see only the geometry, which are our cubes. And we don't have here, I think, a way to handle the various attributes. But that's what we wanted, right? The cubes. So you see that it's working beautifully. Now, if you want the complete pipeline integration, this is step 15. And essentially, I bundled up all that we did above into a single function. And essentially, we can just use that with various parameters. So, right, epsilon 0.4, distance threshold 3. Let's try that out, see what we have. Loading, extracting semantic object. This is our graph. It's a bit different. And then it will export everything. And this is fine into room labeled demo scene CUSDR. If we were to change that to 0.2 but take 20 point, or 0.1 and take 20 point, let's see what we will have. Up. Writing, extracting object, computing, spatial, building the graph. You see that we have an issue in here. It took a lot longer because of how low it is. Our graph is just massive, so my computer is struggling to visualize everything. You see we have a lot of various elements, so this is totally wrong. But again, this is possible. And now let's put 0.2 and 20 sample. This looks like it's a bit better, right? Yeah. And here we have the delineation of the chairs as well. So this is very, very good. You see that now you have an automated way to create this 3D scene graph, which you can find nowhere else for sure on the web. But of course, if you want the complete implementation end-to-end, get all the links below and consider joining or buying that book to support this kind of knowledge sharing to build new stuff, or getting hands-on with the course 3D Segmenter OS. Now, to get a detailed scene scenery, it's not finished. I have other function that I developed, and here is the object scenery statistics, where you have the spatial relationships. For each element, you have the size and so on, and how many objects you have. Also, I wanted to show you in these stages some graph analytics. So if you want to find spatial focal point, for example, with a degree, you can see what is the most important element. So the wall 0 is very important, but table 2 is very, very important, table 9, and the chair 6. So these are the kind of insights that an LLM can leverage to guide you towards what is the best course of action, but it can also leverage ways to obtain that as well, which is super interesting. And now let's move on to the last stage, where you can discover functional areas. So here it's very generalistic, but essentially you can check if it's a work area or something else. And how I do that is by counting if chair is in label counts and table, this is work area. If you have furniture and chair, this is presentation area. You have more ways to do so, but in that case, you see that you have 3 main areas, and maybe it will be better to work around this to have something a bit better. And this is also based on function, the size, the diversity of semantics, labels, and so on. So all of that to say that now you have the ability to generate with this single function, this kind of graphs, export that to be usable by LLM, spatial aware LLMs like Gemini or Llama or Claude even can reason about that, which opens a lot of doors for you to go from pure geometric work, 3D data processing, to 3D data science and spatial AI with spatial intelligence workflows and scenes. I hope this complete tutorial in 2 stages, right, helped you a lot. Again, don't hesitate to leave down below if you have specific comments or what you would like me to push on, if there is something that I overlooked, which is probable. Don't hesitate to say that just down below. I always thrive on making the best possible content for you that is super useful and relevant. And if this is something that can truly help you, just check out the book that will support me really little, but essentially that's my way to thank you for being part of this amazing community and getting a very strong knowledge. If you are here, this is how I filter out people that are really invested and truly want outcomes. This usually goes like this. At the end, you have 10% of people that are still watching. So if you are part, congratulations. That means that you're ready to be one of the top 1 to 10% experts in 3D data science with the book or the various courses line like the Segmentation OS that will be the best fit if you want to extend and create a true end-to-end system from that. That's it for me. Let's see each other in our next tutorial. In the meantime, have a great week. Bye-bye.